Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Susan Smith of Stitched by Susan, and welcome to my first live production on Facebook. Not that I haven't gone live before, but Facebook has this new live production deal that I'm giving a try to, and we'll kind of see how it goes. So I hope you'll be gentle with me and my husband, who's the producer and is behind all these cameras, as we kind of work out the kinks in this. There he is, thumbs up to you. But welcome. And here's kind of what the plan is for this morning. Big picture, I've got a online masterclass being released in January. And it's a really comprehensive look at a lot of the freehand edge-to-edge quilting designs that I do. However, when I'm recording that, videoing the course and the close look and the close instructions of these different designs, it's difficult to give you kind of the big picture because I work at such a large machine, right? So I thought it would be fun to do these sort of companion or sequel lives every morning this week and just show you what it looks like from beginning to end of a quilt. So it won't be particularly instructional, but you'll just be able to watch and see kind of my flow through of the method when I'm quilting. So what I'm doing is edge to edge or all over designs. And in case that term isn't familiar to you, quilters use that to describe quilting that covers a quilt top from edge to edge. So there's no stopping for particular seams or blocks or borders or even color changes. It's just an all over even design. So that's what I'll be quilting every day this week. Today is going to be a very simple one and fairly short because we are getting up to speed and we're practicing with all these cameras and sort of seeing what angles work best and that sort of thing. And they'll get increasingly complex as I go through the week. So tomorrow, Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday, each morning I'll be doing a quilt. And so they'll vary from 45 minutes to I don't know how long. Depends how it takes me to get through the whole quilt. So you get to watch the whole thing from end to end. So we will do our best to manage the camera angles, but again, keep in mind we're focusing kind of on the view from 10,000 feet today. So the close-up cameras, because I'll be going a little faster than I did in my instructional videos, might be a little wobbly in vibration. Forgive us for that, but remember, it's all about the big picture today. And so hopefully this will be helpful to those of you who are maybe just getting started with your long arm machine and you're like, I just kind of don't know what to do next. This will give you an idea of what it looks like to do a quilt all the way through. So without further ado, I'm going to load a quilt back and a quilt top. And the only prep that I've done this morning is this is a baby quilt and it's for one of my friends and the top of it is a panel. So it's a full fabric width. And so is my backing a full fabric width. But I need something to load it, to attach it, if you will. So if you wonder what the odd fabric is, I've sewn a leader to the top and the bottom of this fabric so that I can get every possible 1/4 inch out of it. And then when I'm done quilting, of course, that will just get trimmed off and be gone away. But I use the red snapper system to attach it. So I need about 1.5 inches, at top and bottom of my quilt just for those attaching purposes. So that's what that leader is going to provide. So I probably will not talk very much while I'm quilting because I'm not wearing a microphone and that would be awkward again with my big machine. So just watch and enjoy, and I'll pause at different times and chat a little bit. My husband has a big TV monitor set up for me on the side so that if you type in any questions, I'll pause from time to time and answer questions. So enjoy the ride. I'll move my coffee. Can I go that far comfortably, Dave?
Yeah. You read those?
No. And you'll just have to read the questions to me, probably, Dave. You are literally seeing behind the scenes production. We'll be chatting while I work. Is it possible to unhook that one camera? I'm gonna have to get in there at least 2 more times. So sorry about that interruption. We unplugged one camera so that I did not have to clamber over a 3-foot high wire and realize that was our sound. And of course, what?
Hold your hand when you rub the bar.
Oh, Dave's telling me,
Stop
keep my
hand
hands
talking.
still. There must be Italian in me somewhere because I hand talk all the time. Anyway, we're learning. So we unplugged one camera and it turns out that was our sound. So we apologize for that. Tomorrow will be better. What can I say? Anyway, I've got the backing for the quilt loaded, so I'll keep on going now. Whoops, sorry about that. So I can't see anything on the screen anymore. Am I supposed to be able to, Dave? Like picture-wise?
Well, I turned it off because I get out comments over there, but I'll turn it right back. Yeah.
So I'm doing a couple of things here, which I'll just stop and mention. This is just for my own kind of peace of mind. Both the backing and the top that I'm working with have directional fabrics. And so I always load both of them with the top toward the back of my long arm, toward the left of my long arm. So you can do whichever way works for you, but for me, if I always do it toward the left, I never have to second guess or look at my backing again, crawl into the machine and say, now which part was top again? I always put the top in that direction. So I always know where I'm going. David, would you mind handing me my lotion, that brown bottle there? 1 second. if you watch every day, you'll see me using kind of a couple different methods to anchor my fabric at the top of the quilt, and it depends a bit on the size of the quilt how I do that. This one?
Black light.
Better? Black light? I float my tops, which is to say I leave them hanging loose at the front of the machine, and then I use these magnetic bars to anchor and hold everything still and flat. Easy.
When you stitch across the top and the side,
Yeah.
what kind of stitch do you use?
I use the same as my quilting stitch just because I don't want to fuss with changing it. You certainly could use a basting stitch. Is that audible? Someone was asking what size of stitching I use to baste along the sides and the top. I just use the same as what I quilt with because I don't want to fuss with changing it. You certainly could use a basting stitch there. I'm just going to lower my bar a bit. I'm getting vibration.
The camera's died.
What?
Oh, the camera's died.
I'll take all the clamps and holding devices off and advance. So I'm going to shift this camera just a hair, Dave, because it's right against my roller. I think you're going to need to adjust this because the leg is not holding it. It's just leaning against the roller. Forgive the wiggling for a moment. We're just adjusting the one camera here. Perfect. This quilt is particularly nice because it has straight lines everywhere. It makes it very easy to just eyeball it and line it up and keep things nice and straight.
Easy on that.
Apparently there's quite a clang when I let my bars connect. So once again, I've just basted what will be my next quilting pass.
stitching from right to left or left to right, as it's confusing because both cameras are showing you coming and going.
So the question is whether I'm stitching right to left or left to right, as the cameras do kind of make things look backwards at times. And the answer is I'm alternating. Now with this design, you could certainly do it either way. I'm going sort of off the edge on each side. So you could always left to right if you're more comfortable doing that. But in general, for my edge to edge quilting, I alternate from side to side. When I'm doing a design that's a bit more, what's the word, pictorial or something like that, like feathers or plumes, and I don't want them all to look like they're lined up in rows, I find that alternating sides helps to keep it looking organic and natural. Plus, it's really great practice to quilt in every direction.
For the next one, we'll add bird's eye view.
So you may be able to see in the cameras, I've rolled up just a little bit past where I actually need to quilt, but I'm so close to the end of my project that I want to be able to baste all the way around the bottom. And after that basting is done, then I'll just rewind a little bit and do 2 more rows of quilting. I have a channel lock on my machine, which means I've got it locked now into a perfect horizontal line. And I do that for the top and bottom to get a perfectly straight line. If you don't have that option, it's probably wise to pin your bottom edge first so that you know it's straight before you begin stitching. I'll adjust mine as I go because I know that my stitching is straight, if that makes sense.
They're asking if you know the name of the panel.
I do not know the name of the panel. I'm sorry. I'll ask my friend who it belongs to, and if she knows it, I will post it in the comments. I don't know if it's a new and current line or not. It is by Animal Kingdom. Sorry, the line is Animal Kingdom. So I guess I do know. Just read the selvage, right? And it's by Paintbrush Studio Fabrics. Spring 2020. There you go. So it is pretty new. As you can see, I'm fudging a bit. I'm at the very limit of the selvages here, but because I know that'll be taken up in the binding, I'm okay with it. It's about 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch, so that will get well covered in the binding. And can you see the backing at all? It's coordinating. It's the same little kind of whimsical octopus that's in one of the prints. because I promised you I alternate sides, I'll come all the way back to the right. But really, either way is perfectly acceptable in this quilt. I'm sure you saw in that one I was having a little trouble keeping my lines evenly spaced. But you know what? This is freehand quilting, and I go easy on myself about things like that. This is a children's you it when I take it off the rails. That will not even be noticeable when it's all finished and done. So go easy on yourself. And here I'm going to make a judgment call. I had thought I would just do one more pass, but I see that the lines are quite long and that will be fairly difficult to keep straight. So I'm definitely going to do 2 more passes. The first one will be a bit longer, and the shorter one, as my beginning one was, will run right off into the basted edge of the quilt. One second here while I pull this snug. there it is. So I'll unload it and give you a look at the whole thing. Oops, sorry about that. These are the parallels.
There's a question, how long is your throat length?
I have a 26-inch throat length, which is quite long. It enables me to do quite long, quite wide passes, which I appreciate because I do so much edge-to-edge quilting. That's really important to me. Almost there. Right side up for you. There we go. You can get a pretty good look at that, I think.
Hold on a second, I'll change the camera. There we go.
There you go. I'm hiding in behind it. So I call these faux parallel lines. And the reason I kind of worked on this design is because I love to quilt quilts with entirely parallel lines, but not everyone has a machine that's got the channel locks in it, right? That makes that easy to do. So this gives the effect of the parallel lines while not needing that extra piece of equipment. So the longer you're able to do these lines, you know, the longer you can stretch them, the more you'll get that effect, the less curved ends there are in. But you can start with them quite short if that's more comfortable. It looks a little more maybe watery then. Either way is good. So, as I mentioned earlier, I do have a masterclass launching in January. So that is a deep dive into this type of freehand quilting. This is one of the simplest designs that I do. And the course goes through about 40 different freehand designs. It is my favorite. I'm just an ambassador for edge-to-edge quilting. It's economical for money. You don't need to buy pantographs or digital designs, and it's economical for time. You saw me loading my quilt. I didn't need to do any pre-marking, nothing fussy about that. Just load it and quilt. So I love edge-to-edge work. So we will post a link in the comments to my shop if you're interested in purchasing the class, or if you want a closer look at the full curriculum and see what all the modules have. There's links to all that there, so you can get a really good look at what's involved in that. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow. Let me see. There's another question coming up. Arlene.
Speak about your masterclass a bit more detailed, how we're through it, etc.
Oh, okay. One moment, Arlene. I'm going to grab a tissue before my nose drips on camera.
Oh, the joys of live TV.
I know, Arlene, so I can just be honest about that. Okay, caught the nose. The master class. So it launches January 1, and there's a new module that is released each Monday, each week for 6 weeks. However, you can work through it completely at your own pace. You'll have access to it. You can watch it as many times as you want, spread over a year if you want to. But what does run during the 6 weeks that it's live, and for probably 2 weeks or so afterwards, so about a total of 8, is I'm going to have several live, probably Zoom-based question and answer sessions. Maybe Facebook-based, haven't pinned that down yet, but you would certainly be notified. So a couple of live question and answer sessions where you can actually be quilting at your machine if you want to, and we'll work through some troubleshooting if you have any things that need addressing. And then I have a private Facebook group for all the class members, and I will be posting office hours, probably twice a week at least. So I'll be live and online during those periods of time where you can type and ask me questions, or even send send me photos, and I'll be live during those periods of time. So that's the other thing that comes with the class, is kind of a one-on-one interaction going on there. So check that out if that interests you at all. Like I said, we'll post links to the syllabus or curriculum, which tells you all of the things that are in the modules. There's a couple bonus modules too about things such as dealing with problem quilts, or working with, tension and stitch formation, all the different kind of troubleshooting tips that I've found all gathered up into one place, those sorts of things. So have a look at that. And yeah, I welcome you to come back tomorrow morning, same time, and we'll be working on another quilt tomorrow. See you then.